morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of Voice of Radio. So today it's time to talk about some more products that are coming from Ultra Pro, and they're just not good. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we have to talk about them. I do pride myself on being somewhat of a completionist, but I think we need to, I'm going to tell you what's coming, right? I'm going to show you what they are. But I think we also have to have a little bit of a more critical discussion about why this keeps happening and what the better alternatives out there are. Because the good news is there are some much, much better alternatives out there. So what we've actually got coming is the Ultra Pro Pokemon Gallery Series Scorching Summit. And it's focused around 4 Pokemon. Let's use the playmat as an example. We got Charizard, we got Alolan Marowak, we got Torkoal, and we've got Salazzle. And, I mean, look, first thing to note is, like we tend to have here, we've got the kind of thing that, honestly, any of you guys that are talented artists out there, and I know a bunch of you are, could literally knock up in like 5 minutes. These are the Kensugamuri stock artwork of these 4 Pokemon. You'll see me use them in my videos because it's just stock artwork. It's really easy to find, and it's, you know, official and all of that. But also, it's, you know, I tweeted out about this once, and somebody literally did make one of these in 5 minutes flat and send it to me being like, no, you're right, you literally can do this in about 5 minutes. And look, usual caveat here, because this is pretty important. Some of you like this, and I don't for the life of me understand why, and I'll explain more about that. We'll have a proper discussion about that in a minute. But if you like this and you want to buy this, go for it. All I'm ever doing here is giving you guys advice and telling you what I think and giving you the benefit of my years of wisdom. Wisdom might be the wrong word. Point is, all I'm ever doing here is just telling you what I think. And if you're not into it, that's absolutely fine. You might be looking at this playmat right now and going, Wassy, that's brilliant. I love that. I love Charizard. A lot of people do love Charizard. And look, if you love Charizard and you want to get in on this, do it. Seriously. Go and do it. Have fun, and that's on you, ladies and gentlemen. If you like it, you like it. I am not here to tell you what you should and shouldn't like. There we go. But I still don't think it's particularly good. So, I should actually mention, it's the first time Ultra Pro have done this since March 2022. Shout out to lovely Primal Lugia for reminding me about that one. And these are all going to be coming out. We don't know, actually. They haven't told us. They've given us a list of products, but they haven't actually told us when they're coming out. But we are talking nearly a year. I, for one, had kind of hoped that it had stopped. It hasn't stopped. And, well, let's just see what's on offer, and then we'll have some more chat about why this is happening and what the better alternatives are. So what we've got here is a whole bunch of stuff. We have got ourselves the playmat, like I've shown you, the full view deck box. It's a deck box. The 9-pocket binder. The 9-pocket portfolio. Fancy binder. Deck protectors. Sleeves. The 4-pocket portfolio. The 2-inch album. That's the little one. And the Alcove Click. Now, I will say, of all of the products, the Alcove Click, this is the one I can actually get behind. Because we've got kind of a faux leather deck box here. We've got the energy symbols all lined up on the front, which is pretty gosh darn cool. We've got the fire symbol, obviously most, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Most obvious, most out there, right on the front. It properly opens up and you can get to your deck nice and easily, like you can't in the cheaper deck boxes. And you've got the little badges, or call them what you will, of the 4 Pokemon, and you can choose your favorite to put on the front. So I will actually say the Alcove deck box, I do like. This is actually pretty gosh darn cool. This one I can get behind. And I think if you're going to be getting excited about any of these products, the Alcove deck box is the best one to get to. But I've still got to say, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really not a fan. But I think I've made that pretty clear. So, with all of that borne in mind then, why is this happening? How does this happen? Where does this come from? And the answer essentially is, it must be a licensing thing. It must be that Ultra Pro's license with Pokemon only allows them to use the stock artwork of the particular Pokemon. And then generic backgrounds. The only official Pokemon assets they've got permission to use are the stock artwork of the Pokemon. Now, there's several reasons why this would happen. And essentially, it all comes down to ease. Because if they're using the stock artwork of Pokemon and just putting them on a background, that means that the approval process is basically just being rubber stamped. Obviously, Pokemon have to protect their brand. Pokemon have to look after their brand, make sure nothing gets out there that they don't like. And when you've got new artwork being drawn, there are all kinds of guidelines that have to be done and followed, and Pokemon have got to approve everything, and that means a lot of time, a lot of cost, a lot of expense, etc. Using the stock artwork just off the rack, much easier, much quicker, and I'm assuming the things still have to be approved, but I'm assuming they basically just send over like one image basically of the artwork, and they're like, yeah, is this cool? Can we use this? And then, the Alcove deck box, and that's basically it. There's also a cost thing going on here. Now, I don't know if it's due to cost, but there's a decent chance it is, because obviously, if you are hiring an artist, you've got to pay the artist. And that's a bit awkward. And you've not just got to pay the artist, you've got to find the artist, and finding the artist takes time. And of course, time ends up costing money. You've got to pay people to find the artist, and round it goes. Using stock artwork, much easier. And like I've said, if you hire an artist, that makes the approval process way more awkward, and that's a little bit of a downside. All right, so let's say you don't like this. Like me, you look at this stuff and you go, Wassy, I don't like this. What can I do? And the answer is, there's a lot better stuff out there. And if it's playmats you're after, events. Like, event playmats are great. And honestly, like most of the time, that would be my recommendation. Event playmats. Because they're really good. Now, picking up event playmats on the secondary market has actually started to get pretty expensive, and certainly trying to find the right one can end up setting you back a little bit. That's a little bit of a pain. But event playmats are like really good. The quality of them has been great lately. It's basically just booster pack artwork, which ironically, Ultra Pro uses for binders, but they can't use for playmats, and that's a pretty obvious thing because they are very, very clearly being used as event playmats. So I kind of get that. Here's an example. There's Hisuian Zoroark that was a team challenge, or there's a Radiant Gardevoir that was used for staff. There's a bunch of them out there. If you just rock up to regionals or above, you will get one of these, and they tend to be very cool. But there are also some products. The Morpeko V Union collection is coming with Crown Zenith, and actually that's got a really cool Marnie with Morpeko playmat, so that's one you could be looking out for. Or the Arceus V-Star Ultra Premium collection. Now that never came out in the UK, annoyingly, but it did come out in a bunch of places. And that had a really, really cool playmat that you could pick up just for buying that product. And that's one that I would recommend kind of highly if you're just looking for a really cool playmat. So yeah, that's cool. That's something to have a think about. They're the easy one. They're the ones that are easy to be kind of just going and picking up. Event playmats and things like that. Yes, love it. But also, there are a whole bunch of other countries out there that get really good merch. So I've been showing you a bunch of stuff from Korea lately. I showed you the Christmas playmat that they released. That's kind of amazing. But I've also shown you in the past things like this Ditto playmat, which is absolutely stunning. They're just two examples. There have been a whole bunch of others. I've shown you a bunch of Japanese playmats in the past. So, I don't know, which one's going to show you? This Serena one's kind of amazing. Or the Trainer Lodge playmat, which I've got on order and will be arriving at some point. Or the Charizard and Rayquaza playmat. Now, a quick note about Japan. These good playmats tend to be sold through the Pokemon Center online, and though you can buy them from outside, you will need to use a proxy address, basically like a P.O. box in Japan that forwards it onto you. The reality is they are now sold by a lottery system, and this isn't actually all of them. The Trainer Lodge was made to order, so that was really kind of awesome. Meant you didn't have to, just muck about trying to cross your fingers for a lottery. And these are all available on the secondary market. And honestly, that's what I would suggest a lot of the time. I mean, yes, I know you're going to end up paying a little bit over the odds, but the deck boxes are so cheap over in Japan, and you can get cool things like this Umbrian one, although that is going to be sold over the odds, but things like this Psycho Soda, which is my favourite one they've had in a while, that I think a lot of the time it's going to be better picking them up on the secondary market, because the reality is that this kind of stuff coming out of Japan and Korea and places like that is so good that it really is, for me, worth that extra little bit of expense and effort to try and pick them up. And like I said at the start of the video, if this is what you're into, if you're looking at this collection and going, Wassy, you're an idiot, I love this, then fine, I'm an idiot, you love it, go and buy it, that's fine. But what I'm saying is, between the awesome playmats given out at events and stuff over here, and the amazing accessories being constantly released in Japan and Korea, and yes, make sure you're subscribed to this channel because I'm showing you all of them as they're revealed, then yeah, there are just better options out there. There are reasons for this. It's a licensing issue, probably to do with ease of use, maybe to do with cost. But the fact of the matter is, we don't need like 50 playmats each. Most of us, realistically, are going to pick one really cool playmat and use it at every event. The one I use is actually drawn by Dan TDM, who's like well famous now. He drew it for my friend as a present for me many years ago, and I just use that at like every event. It's a stunning playmat. I absolutely adore it. And it's a really cool thing now that I get to sit down and be like, it's drawn by Dan TDM. And people just don't believe me because that's a weird thing to say. But it's legitimately true, and that's kind of awesome. Maybe I'll tweet a picture of it out later, see if I can farm some easy likes. My point is, I think there are better options. But hey, it's up to you guys, ladies and gentlemen. As always, this is nothing but advice. You do you. Do what makes you happy. For now, I want to know what makes you happy. I want to know what you think about these. I want to know which playmats and deck boxes and sleeves you choose to use. And I want to know which ones are your favourites. Let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy. That's where we talk about Pokemon and card games and Pokemon card games, all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel. You can get some bonus podcasts where I answer all of your questions. You can join a Discord and chat with us about Pokemon or indeed anything you want to. And you can get shout-outs on the channel like the lovely Dark1313, who's been one of our supporters for a while now and is a very lovely person. So thank you very much for the support and for being a very lovely person. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.